How long was this period of time where things just slowly, progressively got worse?
It's about a year.
Yeah, it happened really quickly. I would say probably within 2 months, it really went downhill there for a bit. Starting in start of March last year, within kind of 2 months there, really went down.
Hey everyone, today we have an interview with Lisa and her husband Colby, all the way from Alberta, Canada. And Lisa has been struggling with symptoms of Sjogren's, lupus, and then finally RA. Basically, years and years of symptoms and no answers, and yet more and more diagnoses. Dealing with the conventional medical world, she was very frustrated, and she became to be somebody who was a busy real estate broker who basically had to be taken care of by Colby to even get dressed, to even do anything. So this had a major, huge impact on her life. Today, I'm actually going to show you where are they now a year later. So it really does answer the question is, can these severe symptoms be reversed, first of all? And number two is, are these results sustainable? So all the way from Alberta, Canada, here's Lisa and Colby. Lisa, Colby, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, my name is Lisa Sostad, and
I'm Colby Sostad.
and we're from Canada. We're from Grand Prairie, or actually Sexsmith, Alberta, Canada, so a little ways away from you, Dr. Maggie. I work as a realtor here in Alberta, and
I work in oil, yeah.
Colby works in oil and gas as a programmer. Prior to the program starting, I had 3 diagnoses. I had lupus, Sjogren syndrome. My newest one was RA. So
did not need that new diagnosis.
No, and that's when I started looking for you.
Dealing with lupus, Sjogren's, and RA, this is really typical that people with autoimmune disease not just have one diagnosis, but typically when your body already mistakes one part of your body as a germ, the likelihood it's going to mistake multiple other targets as a germ is 100%. So this is a very common pattern of multiple autoimmune diagnoses. And it's a really common pattern for people not to do something to stop that process, so they keep adding more and more diagnoses. So by your 3rd diagnosis, you were like, I'm ready to interrupt this pattern. I need to do something to stop it. Now I'm not gaining more diagnoses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I couldn't move or like swollen body. My life was taken away pretty much there. So I needed to act and do something. And Colby was really a pusher to make me.
So let's talk about this. So what would you say would be your top 3 symptoms that you had?
Swollen. My whole body, like from fingers to toes, were swollen, extremely stiff.
How long was this period of time where things just slowly, progressively got worse?
It's about a year.
It happened really quickly. I would say probably within 2 months, it really went downhill there for a bit. Starting in start of March last year, within kind of 2 months there, really went down.
Yeah, like I always had the lupus and Sjogren syndrome, and I always dealt with things with that. But when the RA hit me, I was done. Like I went to bed one night and then I woke up the other night and the other day, and all of my symptoms were there, and I could hardly move. And it lasted for almost a year before I contacted Dr. Maggie.
People want to know, like Canada, we have actually clients all over the world. People want to know, like, what is so magical about what happened? Like, if you were to say that there's three things that you thought really made this big difference, what would you say those 3 things were? So it's not like this nebulous thing. Were there 3 solid things you could say, yeah, that was responsible for this huge thing, that was responsible, and that was responsible? What would you say they were?
I would say it was the education that I learned in phase 1. About how to read my labs and what supplements are responsible for what and why you use them, and that you are always going to have to redo your labs and adjust because you're constantly changing.
Correct.
And so that was a huge thing for me. The other one was food sensitivities was a big one. Because, I had some food sensitivities, testing before, but I really learned a lot in yours in regards to like egg food sensitivity and kind of what to stay away from. But more on the food sensitivities is the community and what we learned in your mastermind calls about vegetables and cruciferous vegetables.
You had big problems with vegetables. Your shopping cart was like 2-3 vegetables before.
Yeah. So like that was a game changer for me, and making soups and like and the fats that you put in stuff, and who cares if it's not a recipe, just I just told myself, who cares it doesn't have to be a recipe, just throw all the vegetables in and make a chicken broth, away you go. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy, just get the vegetables in, right?
Yeah.
So that was a game changer for me. And then also the hormones was a pretty good game changer for me, just learning about them and understanding, that they are responsible for so many different things that go on in your body.
So hormones was big for you. In what way do you think like hormones made a big impact on you?
I always suffered with really cold feet and hands. And when I did some hormone stuff, I felt like my hands and feet were warmer. I didn't really think I had any problems with like your monthly menstrual cycle, but like after I did the hormones, they were definitely a lot lighter, which I didn't think I had a problem, but I think I did.
Always like, thank you for removing the icicles from my bed every evening and morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice when your partner has warm hands and feet.
Well, first thing that comes to greet you when you get in the bed.
Like, ooh. My other question was like, how important, Colby, was your participation in her vegetable and food diversity?
For me, I will try kind of anything and go with it. Probably the hardest part about that in our house is with the kids, who are pretty picky when it comes to that. So to try to introduce new stuff to them, even just to try to get them to try it, was a big feat. And Lisa had lots of patience, and lots of times it kind of ended up meaning almost 2 different meals, just because the kids wouldn't try it or wouldn't want to eat it, or
But here's the interesting thing is, in the past, Lisa just wouldn't have tried those vegetables. But I think now that you realize how much healing it actually caused, like it literally it became your medicine. It became a non-negotiable. You just made more different kinds of vegetables. If they didn't eat the ones you wanted to eat, there were still other vegetables, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of working with me in this program?
I got to see you every week on the mastermind calls, and that even if I didn't have a question on the mastermind call, that you were more than happy to answer all the crew's questions, and then I learned from it. So that was probably my most favorite thing. And just when it was my turn to get test results or my turn to go through my data, that that you spent a good time on it and kind of went through it with me step by step. And if I did have a question, you would let me know, I could answer, or I could ask it and you would get me the answer. Or even if I wanted to go through my hormones again, you went through them with me a couple times. So I'm grateful for that.
Dr.Maggie would push Lisa to figure it out for herself too, right? Like you push her to come up with her own answer and then tweak it or correct it, right? So that wasn't just somebody telling you what to do, it was you were learning how to do it yourself.
I love that point, Colby, Lisa. I love that point, because I tell people when they start their very first call with me that if I do my job right, which I always do, I'm teaching you the skill of being able to learn how to troubleshoot these problems for the rest of your life. I'm not here to give you the answers. That's not my job. My job is to train you with the skills to be able to come up with them on your own, no matter what the problem is. So that's a philosophy I take very seriously, which is why when we're in mastermind calls, as many times as people ask me the question, I'm asking a question back to you or to somebody else, and people are filling up the chat with the answers too. It's kind of amazing how much people actually know how to think like me by the middle and by the end of it. I'm just like, it's flabbergasted. I'm like, do you know you just answered a question 97% of endocrinologists cannot answer? And that's the truth.
It is, yeah.
I love that. Lisa, what's something you learned about you during this process that was surprising?
I learned that I am worth it, and I am smart enough to do this course and be responsible for my health, and that it is real. Like the natural side of medical, like the natural medicine is real and it actually works. And that's what I learned.
Colby, what did you learn about your wife that was surprising?
She actually had the drive and willingness to go and do something this large for herself and follow it through to the end and do it for her. This was something that was all about her, but had effect on our whole family. But in the end, it was about her. It was for her. And it was really nice to see her take control of that and do that and step into it.
Well, the thing that you're talking about is personal responsibility. So there's a lot of people who will say, oh, he pushed me into it, or I should do it like that, and they'll do it kicking and screaming, which means they're not really doing it. What I loved about watching Lisa and your progress was I would say something like, why don't you try 3 new vegetables this week? And I want to see a photo of it in your shopping cart. And sure enough, the next day, there'd be a picture posted, of her shopping cart full of 6 new vegetables of different colors. And that was the thing, was every challenge I gave you every week, you went and freaking did it.
I did. Yeah.
It wasn't kicking, screaming. It wasn't like, oh, he talked me into it. He pushed me into it. Oh, it sucks. My kids won't eat it. It was, nope, I just did it.
Yeah.
That's why you're successful. The successful person implements, and you implemented and you implemented and you implemented, period, done. Huge personal responsibility. And I love the fact that what you guys are saying is this didn't just impact you. This impacted upon your relationship with Colby. This impacted upon your relationship with your kids. It's actually going to have a major impact upon the health of your children for the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to teach them all the things and just the way of eating, and it's going to be huge for them. And I'm going to continue, they're young and they're like, yeah, I don't want to, but I'm going to push it more. They need to learn. And the only way they'll learn is if somebody teaches them.
What would you say to somebody in Canada, in South Africa, in England, in India, some of the other people around the world that are like not familiar with this program? What would you say for them? I mean, and the exchange rate may not be favorable. Like, what would your advice to that person be?
I would say that you can't put a price tag on your health, and it just depends what avenue you want to go down. But I would always try the natural route first, because, it's going to have less impact, like less negative impact on your life later on, right? Because there's always so many negative side effects with harsh medical drugs. So I would tell them that they're worth it, and they need to go check out your website or your Facebook page, and it doesn't matter what the price tag is.
Well, because the most expensive thing that you can lose is your own time. Colby, I have a question for you. This is a funny one. What would you say to the millions of people out there watching this video who thinks that I have 150 paid actors and 150 paid videos of fake advertising about their life stories? What do you say to the person who thinks you guys are fake? Colby?
Well, we're not fake. You can think whatever you want to think, but that's not work. And that's the cool part. And to me, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or whatever. It actually worked for Lisa. And that's all that matters, that it worked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for taking time to do this. It's been a pleasure having you guys in the program, and your journeys has been incredibly inspiring to watch. And I'm just now glad that there's going to be tons of other people who are going to be able to access your journey through this. So, I mean, Lisa, thanks for holding out on me and not sharing all these wins until now.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a incredibly inspiring journey from Lisa and Colby from Canada, who really a busy real estate agent who basically lost much of her mobility, ability to work, be a mother and be a wife. And with the support of her husband, Colby, really committed herself and took personal responsibility over the course of a 2-month time frame to turn around some severe symptoms related with Sjogren's, lupus, and rheumatoid arthritis. If you know anybody that's dealing with these symptoms, such as swelling, difficulty walking, pain, fatigue, depression from their autoimmunity, go ahead and put their name in the comment section below. And because you know what? Raising awareness is caring, and thank you for doing that. They may not listen to you, but they might listen to Colby. They may listen to Lisa. So go ahead and put their name in the comment section. Give us a like, share this video. Sharing is caring, and thank you for raising awareness. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, make sure you click the link and join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. If you want to work with me, go ahead and click the link above to book a call with our team, and let's get started.